You do not have to become better at being alone tonight. You do not have to prove that you are strong enough to enjoy the silence, wise enough to understand every feeling, healed enough to stop missing someone, or peaceful enough to turn this night into a lesson. Nothing is being tested here. There is no correct way to listen. There is no sentence you have to memorize. There is no feeling you must produce before sleep comes. You may hear every word. You may hear only some of them. You may drift somewhere in the middle and remember almost nothing in the morning. That does not mean you missed what mattered. Sometimes the kindest thing the mind can do is stop following every sentence and let the body rest while something quieter continues underneath. So if sleep reaches you before I reach the end of a thought, let it. If your attention wanders, let it wander. If a memory rises and disappears again, it does not need to be chased. Tonight is not asking you to perform healing. It is asking much less of you than that. For now, all that is needed is a place to lie down, a little time that belongs to no one else, and the possibility that your own presence may become easier to live beside than it has felt before. There is one question I want to leave unopened for a while, not because the answer is difficult, because you may have spent so many years looking for the answer in other people that hearing it too quickly would make it sound smaller than it is. We will come back to it. For now, you can let the day loosen its hold. You have carried enough conversations past the moment they ended. You have reread enough expressions on faces that are no longer in front of you. You have tried hard enough to understand what someone meant, why their tone changed, why a message became shorter, why warmth disappeared, why a person who once seemed close suddenly became difficult to reach. There is nothing you need to solve in this moment. No one needs an answer from you here. No one needs you to explain yourself. No one needs you to sound cheerful. No one is measuring how gracefully you handle the quiet. That matters, because loneliness can become another place where people begin grading themselves. You may have told yourself that you should be more independent by now. You should not care whether someone messages. You should not feel that small drop in your chest when you realize the phone has been silent for hours. You should not wish there were footsteps in another room. You should not miss a voice. You should not feel unsettled when there is no one to tell the small things to. You should be evolved enough, self-loving enough, busy enough, grateful enough, interesting enough to entertain yourself, strong enough not to need anyone. But loneliness does not become lighter when it is covered with another layer of judgment. A lonely evening is already tender. It does not need to become evidence against you. You are allowed to be a human being who was made for connection and still learn how to enjoy your own company. Those truths do not cancel each other. You can cherish relationships and become more at ease with yourself. You can want closeness and stop treating your own presence as the waiting room before someone more important arrives. You can miss people and still discover that an empty chair does not have to mean an empty life. You can wish someone were beside you without turning that wish into a verdict about your worth. And tonight, especially, you do not have to force yourself into the opposite feeling. You do not have to look around the room and declare that you love being alone if you do not. You do not have to say words that feel false. You do not have to transform loneliness into joy before you sleep. We are not going to fight what is here. We are going to stop making you the enemy of it. There is a difference. You may know the hour when loneliness becomes louder. It is not always when the day is busiest. During the day, there are tasks. There are errands. There are messages to answer. There are things to clean, arrange, finish, carry, fix, deliver. There may be people around you. There may be co-workers, relatives, customers, neighbors, strangers in shops, voices in meetings, traffic outside a window. You can move through all of that almost automatically. Then evening arrives. The pace changes. The outside world stops demanding quite so much. And something inside you becomes easier to hear. Perhaps you pick up your phone without knowing exactly why. You unlock it. Nothing important is there. You put it down. A few minutes pass. Your hand reaches for it again. Not because you expect a particular message. Sometimes you do not even know what you're hoping to find. A name, a sign, a little probe of that somewhere in the world you have crossed another person's mind. You may open an old conversation even though there is nothing new in it. You may scroll backward farther than you intended. A sentence that once made you smile now feels different. A photograph carries a strange weight. You can remember what the room looked like when that message first arrived. You can remember how certain you felt then. You can remember believing that something would remain. The screen is small, yet whole seasons of your life can fit inside it. So you close the conversation. You tell yourself not to look again. And later, without deciding to, you look again. Some nights you keep a television playing even though you are barely following it. A podcast, a familiar video, music. Anything that gives the room another voice. Not because silence is bad, because silence sometimes removes the thin wall between you and thoughts you managed not to hear during the day. You may stay awake later than your body wants because going to sleep feels too final. When you sleep, the possibility of a message ends for the night. The door is closed. Nothing more is likely to happen. So part of you keeps the evening open just a little longer. One more check. One more scroll. One more chapter. One more episode. One more visit to a page you have already visited. Not always because you are interested. Sometimes because ending the day means admitting that no one arrived. No one called. No one suddenly understood. No apology appeared. No unexpected tenderness entered the room. And if you have lived through enough nights like that, the mind can begin attaching stories to them. See, you are forgotten. See, everyone has someone except you. See, people leave. See, you matter only when you are useful. See, if you stopped reaching out first, no one would come looking. Those thoughts can feel like facts at night. That does not make them facts. Night has a way of giving temporary feelings a permanent voice, especially when you are tired, especially when you have been holding yourself together since morning, especially when you spent the day responding to everyone else's needs. You may be the person people depend on. You may answer quickly. You may remember birthdays. You may check whether someone arrived home safely. You may hear a change in a friend's voice before anyone else hears it. You may know who needs encouragement and who needs space. You may know when to send the message, when to stay longer, when to bring food, when to listen, when not to make the moment about yourself. You may be very good at being there, and there is a loneliness that comes from being the person who is always there. Because after enough years of being dependable, people can begin assuming you need less. You seem capable. You seem calm. You seem as though you always find a way through. You say, "I'm fine," convincingly enough that nobody asks a second time. Sometimes you even believe it until the house is quiet. Then something shifts. You set down whatever you were doing. The expression leaves your face. Your shoulders are no longer performing composure for anyone. And you realize how long it has been since someone asked a question and truly waited for the answer. Not the polite version, not the version that keeps everything easy. The real answer, the answer that might take time, the answer that might not be tidy, the answer that says, "I have been carrying more than I know how to explain." There are people who feel lonely because no one is around. There are also people who feel lonely in full rooms, people who can laugh at dinner and feel absent inside themselves, people who can share a bed and still feel unseen, people who can receive messages all day and feel that nobody has touched the part of them that actually needed company. So loneliness is not always a question of how many people are near you. Sometimes it is the ache of not feeling met. Sometimes it is the exhaustion of always translating yourself. Sometimes it is the habit of editing your truth so that other people remain comfortable. Sometimes it is realizing that you have become skilled at offering pieces of yourself that are easy to receive while keeping the more tender pieces hidden. Maybe you learned not to ask for too much. Maybe you became the easy one, the agreeable one, the one who says, whatever works for you, the one who does not want to be a burden, the one who waits before sending another message because you do not want to seem needy, the one who types a paragraph and deletes half of it, the one who says, "No worries," when there were, in fact, worries. The one who tells someone to take all the time they need while secretly wondering whether their silence means you have already lost them. You may know that kind of restraint. It can look like maturity from the outside. Inside, it can feel like standing at the edge of every relationship with a small bag packed, ready to leave before you are left, ready to understand before anyone has to explain, ready to forgive before anyone has apologized, ready to make your needs smaller so another person will not feel crowded by them. That way of living does not begin because you are weak. It often begins because some part of you learned that connection could disappear. And the mind is a brilliant student of disappearance. It remembers the unanswered call, the friend who changed after meeting someone new, the affection that became inconsistent, the parent who was emotionally unavailable, the home where attention had to be earned, the relationship where love was warm one day and distant the next, the times you were told you were too sensitive, too much, too needy, too quiet, too emotional, too difficult to understand, not enough fun, not enough this, too much that. The mind remembers patterns because it is trying to keep you from being surprised by pain again. That does not mean every conclusion it draws is true. It means protection can become very repetitive. If closeness once became uncertain, your mind may scan for signs of distance before distance is actually there. A slower reply can feel like rejection. A changed tone can become a threat. Someone being tired can become a story about losing interest. A plan being canceled can awaken every earlier experience of not being chosen. Then you may judge yourself for reacting so strongly. You may think, why am I like this? Why can't I just relax? Why does this matter so much? Why do I need reassurance? Why am I checking again? But the mind rarely becomes calmer because it has been insulted. It becomes calmer when it understands that the danger it learned to anticipate is not always happening now. You do not need to be ashamed of the part of you that checks. You do not need to hate the part of you that hopes. You do not need to mock the part of you that still wants someone to say, I thought of you today. That longing is not embarrassing. It is human. And there is another layer underneath it that may be harder to admit. Sometimes you are not only waiting for another person, you are waiting for another person to change the way you feel about yourself, for their attention to make you feel interesting, for their desire to make you feel beautiful, for their consistency to make you feel safe, for their praise to make you feel capable, for their return to make you feel worth returning to, for their regret to prove you were valuable, for their apology to prove you were not foolish for caring, for their presence to confirm that your life matters more when witnessed. This does not mean you consciously chose to hand those things away. Most people do not sit down one morning and decide that another human being will now be responsible for their sense of worth. It happens quietly, a little here, a little there. You begin feeling brighter when a certain name appears on your screen, then duller when it does not. You feel more attractive when someone is attentive, then less certain when they pull away. You feel secure when plans are made, then restless when they are vague. You begin living in emotional weather created by someone else's availability. And because the good moments feel so relieving, you may not realize how much power the uncertain moments have gained. Again, no blame. We are not searching for someone to accuse tonight. Not them, not you. We are understanding the pattern, so the pattern does not have to run the whole night. There may also be loneliness tied to comparison. You see photographs of couples, families, friends traveling together, people celebrating anniversaries, people sitting around tables, people announcing engagements, people writing captions about having found their person. And even if you are happy for them, something inside you may tighten. You wonder whether life has passed you by, whether you made some choice years ago that closed the wrong door, whether you should have stayed, whether you should have left sooner, whether you were too cautious, too trusting, too independent, not independent enough, whether love is easy for everyone else and somehow complicated around you. Social media can turn thousands of carefully selected moments into one enormous piece of false evidence. It can make it appear that everybody else is continuously being chosen, continuously invited, continuously held, continuously understood. You rarely see the quiet dinner after the photograph, the argument before the trip, the ache inside the smiling person, the nights someone feels alone beside a partner they no longer know how to reach. You see an image. Your mind supplies the story. Then it compares that imagined completeness with every unfinished part of your own life. That comparison is not fair to you. Still, it can hurt. You may close the app and carry the feeling into bed. You may start counting what is missing. No partner, not enough friends, children far away, a friendship that changed, a marriage that ended, a person who died, a person who is still alive but no longer part of your life, a family relationship that never became what you hoped, a community you moved away from, a version of yourself you miss. Loneliness has many names. Grief is one of them. Transition is another. Disappointment can be another. Sometimes, loneliness is what remains when an identity changes. After retirement, after children leave home, after a move, after a breakup, after a friendship fades, after illness changes what your social world looks like, after a season when you were needed constantly and suddenly you are not. The quiet that follows can feel like freedom in one moment and abandonment in the next. Both can be true. Human beings are complicated enough to feel relief and sorrow in the same hour. You do not have to choose which feeling is the official one. There may be nights when you enjoy your space. You make what you want for dinner. You put things where you want them. No one interrupts you. No one asks anything from you. And still, when you turn off the light, a small ache appears. That ache does not erase the pleasure you felt earlier. It only means part of you also wants closeness. You are allowed both. You are allowed to like solitude and still dislike loneliness. You are allowed to need rest from people and later wish someone were near. You are allowed to be grateful for your independence and tired of doing everything alone. You are allowed to value your freedom and to want to be held. There is no contradiction that needs fixing. What becomes painful is when those ordinary human needs become reasons to turn against yourself. That is the part we can begin changing. Not by pretending you never need anyone, not by making independence into another wall, not by declaring that people are disappointing and therefore you are better off alone. That is not the kind of peace we are building. A heart can be protected so thoroughly that nothing reaches it, but numbness is not the same thing as safety. What if the goal is neither dependence nor isolation? What if there is another way to belong to yourself while remaining open to others? We are getting closer to the question I left unopened. Not yet. There is something else to understand first. You may have spent years learning how to make other people comfortable in your presence while never learning how to become comfortable in your own. Think of how quickly you can adjust when someone else enters the room. Your posture changes, your expression changes. You become attentive, you ask questions, you make space, you consider what they need. You decide whether they are tired, hungry, worried, cold, distracted. You may offer tea, a chair, a blanket, a listening ear. You soften your voice if they are upset. You give them time to find words. If they make a mistake, you may say, "It's okay." If they are embarrassed, you reassure them. If they are grieving, you do not demand that they cheer up. If they are exhausted, you would never tell them they are lazy for needing rest. If they have been rejected, you would not look into their face and say, "Obviously, you were not worth choosing." You would never speak that way to someone you care about. Yet when you are the only person in the room, the rules can change. You may become harder. You may replay what you did wrong. You may catalog your flaws. You may stand in front of a mirror and search for evidence that explains why someone left. You may look at your life as though it is a report card. Relationship incomplete. Friendships not enough. Career should be further. Body should be different. Home should look better. Confidence should be stronger. Healing taking too long. You turn your private moments into inspections. Then being alone becomes exhausting because the person you are alone with is constantly evaluating you. Of course, silence feels uncomfortable if silence is where criticism begins. Of course, you reach for distraction if putting the phone down means listening to an inner voice that has forgotten how to be kind. Of course, You look outward for relief if inward has become a place of interrogation. This is why telling someone to just enjoy your own company can sound almost insulting. Company is not automatically pleasant because it is your own. A relationship with yourself is still a relationship. It develops according to how you are treated inside it. If every quiet moment becomes a courtroom, you will avoid the courtroom. If every mirror becomes a critic, you will avoid the mirror. If every memory becomes evidence, you will avoid stillness. There is nothing mysterious about that. You are not failing at solitude. You may simply have been spending solitude with a version of yourself who learned criticism before companionship. That can change, not all at once, not through one perfect sentence, not because tonight has to become some dramatic turning point. Change can begin much more quietly. A different response when the old accusation appears. A little more patience with the part of you that still misses someone. One evening without treating your longing as humiliation. One moment of speaking to yourself the way you would speak to a tired friend. One night of refusing to turn silence into proof that you are unwanted. Small shifts matter because relationships are built in repeated moments, including the relationship you have with yourself. There is another habit loneliness sometimes creates. You may postpone living, not consciously. You do not say, I am going to place my life on hold until somebody arrives. But you save experiences for later. You imagine going to a restaurant, then decide it would be better with someone. You want to visit a place, but going alone seems sad. You buy something special and wait for the right occasion. You keep the nicer dishes untouched. You delay making the room beautiful because nobody else sees it. You cook the easiest thing because it is only for you. You skip the walk because there is nobody to go with. You do not play the music you love because there is no one to share it with. You wear the older clothes at home. You postpone pleasure until it has an audience. Bit by bit, your own life can begin receiving the leftovers. Not because you believe you deserve leftovers, because you are waiting for company, waiting for motivation, waiting for the future version of life that feels more official. And waiting can become a room of its own, a place where years pass quietly. You may become incredibly generous with the imagined future. Someday I will travel. Someday I will decorate this place. Someday I will take better care of myself. Someday I will cook the meal. Someday I will wear that. Someday I will sit outside with coffee and do nothing. Someday when someone is here, but your life is here now, not as a punishment, not as a consolation prize. Here, tonight, breathing in a room that may be quiet, occupying a body that has carried you through every departure you thought might destroy you. You are already present for this life. And that may be more important than it sounds. There is a subtle difference between being alone and leaving yourself alone. Being alone describes who is physica, lie nearby. Leaving yourself alone happens when your own attention is always somewhere else, on who replied, who did not, who chose you, who overlooked you, who might return, who moved on, who is happier, who has what you wanted, who understands, who never understood. The body remains here. The mind is stationed at 100 distant doors. No wonder you feel unattended. You may have been waiting outside other people's lives while your own inner world sat without company. That is not an accusation. It is an invitation to become curious. Where does your attention go when nobody is asking for it? Who receives your tenderness when no one else needs comforting? What happens to your care when there is no one present to give it to? Does it disappear? Does it become worry? Does it become checking? Does it become remembering? Does it become imagining conversations that may never happen? Or could some of that care begin returning to the person who has been generating it all along? You. Not because you are supposed to replace everyone. You cannot, nor should you have to. There are forms of connection that only another person can provide. There are conversations that matter, hands that matter, communities that matter, friendships that matter. Professional support can matter. Love can matter. Being witnessed can matter. This is not a philosophy of needing nobody. It is an end to the idea that needing others requires neglecting yourself. That distinction is important. There have been times when people used the language of strength to tell hurting people to endure too much alone. That is not what I am saying. If you are unsafe, support matters. If you are overwhelmed, reaching toward trustworthy people matters. If loneliness is becoming heavy enough to affect your ability to function or care for yourself, qualified professional support can be an act of wisdom. Self-companionship does not mean shutting the door on help. It means you do not have to become your own enemy while seeking it. You are worthy of support from within and beyond yourself. Tonight, we are working with the part that can begin here. The private relationship no one else sees. The tone you use inside your own mind. The way you treat an evening that belongs only to you. The way you respond when longing appears. You do not have to exile longing. You can make room for it without handing it the keys to everything. You can say, I know you wish someone were here. I know you miss being asked how your day was. I know you wanted that relationship to become something different. I know it hurt when they stopped trying. I know you are tired of beginning again. I know you wonder whether anyone is coming. And then instead of leaving yourself alone with those questions, you remain present, not with an answer. Presence, see, ohms before answers. A person can survive many unanswered questions when they do not have to face them while fighting themselves. You may still wonder why someone did what they did. You may still miss them tomorrow. You may still want love. You may still hope to meet people who feel safe and reciprocal and warm. Nothing about tonight requires you to give up those hopes. We are only removing one cruel condition from them. The condition that says life cannot begin until they arrive. The condition that says your value is pending. The condition that says the room you are in is merely temporary because the real life exists somewhere else with somebody else. What if this hour is not a hallway? What if you are not waiting outside the main event of your own life? What if the care you keep preparing for other people also belongs somewhere closer? You have probably been preparing it for years. You know how to make another person feel welcome. You know how to give them the comfortable seat. You know how to listen when they are tired. You know how to forgive a nervous explanation. You know how to say, take your time. You know how to make space. And there is something deeply moving about realizing that the person who knows how to create all that warmth may have been standing just outside it, not rejected, not forgotten, simply unaccustomed to entering. This is where the night begins to change, not dramatically. Nothing needs to break open. No revelation has to arrive. Just one possibility. The possibility that loneliness is not asking you to become less human. It may be asking you to stop treating your own presence like the least important presence in the room. You have given enough evenings to waiting, enough tenderness to guessing, enough energy to reading silence as a message about your worth, enough nights to imagining that someone else's arrival would finally grant you permission to settle into your own life. You can keep loving people. You can keep hoping. You can keep wanting closeness. And at the same time, another relationship can begin receiving your attention. One that has been with you through every unanswered message, every departure, every move, every restless night, every morning when you got up and continued. It has not always been a peaceful relationship. Sometimes you have spoken harshly inside it. Sometimes you have ignored it. Sometimes you have demanded impossible things from it. Sometimes you have compared it with everyone else. Sometimes you have left it waiting while you stood at the doors of people who were not opening theirs. Still, it remains your relationship with you. And somewhere inside that relationship is the answer to the question I left unopened. We are not opening it yet, but we are close enough now to hear something on the other side. quieter possibility. A place where your own presence is not something you endure between visits for other people. A place where silence is not an accusation. A place where the evening does not become empty simply because no one else enters it. A place where care is not saved for guests. Where comfort is not reserved for someone more important. Where the good things are not kept untouched for a future life. Where you do not have to earn the right to rest. Where you are not standing outside asking whether you belong. Some part of you may already recognize this place, even if you do not yet know what to call it. It has been waiting beneath all the checking, all the comparing, all the hoping, all the rehearsed conversations, not demanding anything, not asking you to become someone new, only waiting for you to turn toward it. There is a door there. For years you may have walked past it because you believed every beautiful room was meant for someone else. Tonight, for the first time, there is still a light beneath that door, and beside it, a key. The key is small enough to have been overlooked. Nothing about it announces itself. No ribbon, no note, no dramatic sign. Just a worn piece of metal resting where it has always rested, cool against the wood, patient in the quiet. You might imagine an old inn after the final traveler has gone upstairs. The front door has been locked for the night. The last cup has been washed. The chairs have been set back beneath the tables. A lamp burns low behind the desk. The building has changed its voice. During the day there were footsteps, questions, luggage being carried, doors opening and closing, people asking where to eat, where to go, how early breakfast would be served, whether another blanket could be brought upstairs. There was always something to answer, something to prepare, something to remember. The innkeeper knew every sound. She knew which floorboard spoke beneath a heavy step. She knew which window rattled when the wind moved around the corner of the building. She knew which guest liked tea before bed, and which one would ask for hot water before sunrise. She knew where extra towels were folded, where spare candles were kept, which room was warmest, which room caught the morning light, which room needed another pillow because the mattress had grown softer on one side. She noticed everything. That was part of being good at what she did. Travelers arrived tired, and she knew how to receive tired people. Some came cheerful, some came impatient, some came disappointed by weather, roads, delays, or plans that had not unfolded the way they hoped. Some entered carrying so much that they seemed to bring their entire life through the doorway. The innkeeper never asked them to justify why they needed rest. She did not stand at the desk and say, "You have not suffered enough for the better room." She did not tell a weary traveler, "You should be stronger by now." She did not shame anyone for asking for warmth. She did, not examine their history before offering them a place to sleep. A room was ready. A lamp was lit. A blanket was turned back. There was water beside the bed. There was a hook for the coat, a place for the shoes, a small table for whatever someone was tired of carrying. She understood something simple about hospitality. A person did not have to earn relief before entering. And because she understood that so well for everyone else, no one noticed the arrangement she had made for herself. At first, perhaps, it was temporary. All such things begin temporarily. One busy evening, there were more guests than expected. A storm had delayed several travelers. Every bed was needed. The innkeeper gave away the last available room. That night she slept in the hallway on a narrow bench beside a cupboard of linens. It was not comfortable, but she managed. She told herself it was only one night. She had done something generous. The guests were grateful. Morning came. She rose early. No one knew she had slept badly. Breakfast was served. The rooms were cleaned. The day continued. Then another night came when someone needed the room more. An elderly traveler, a frightened young woman, a family with a child, someone grieving, someone ill from the journey, someone who simply looked exhausted. Each time, the innkeeper found a reason. They need it more than I do. I can manage. I know this place. I am used to the hallway. It is only tonight. Generosity became habit. Habit became identity. Soon, the best room in the inn was always available for everyone except the person who maintained it. She changed the sheets. She opened the windows in the afternoon. She placed fresh flowers beside the bed when flowers were available. She polished the small mirror above the washstand. She made certain the fireplace was clean. She chose the softest blanket. She kept the room beautiful because a special guest might come, someone who had traveled far, someone important, someone whose arrival would make the preparation worthwhile. Years passed. The room remained ready. Travelers came and went. Some stayed one night. Some stayed a week. A few promised to return and never did. Others returned unexpectedly. Some remembered the innkeeper's kindness. Some forgot her the moment they left. A few complained about things she could not control. Most were ordinary people moving through ordinary lives. And every evening, when the last door closed, the innkeeper walked past the finest room and returned to the hallway. The bench became familiar. She knew exactly where to place the folded blanket beneath her shoulder. She knew how to turn so the edge of the cupboard would not press against her back. She kept her shoes beside her because she might need to get up if someone called. She slept lightly, always listening, always available, always ready to rise for another person's need. After enough years, the hallway no longer seemed like a sacrifice. It seemed natural. This is just where I sleep, she thought. The beautiful room is for guests. There is something in that sentence that may feel familiar. The beautiful things are for other people. The patience is for other people. The understanding is for other people. The second chance is for other people. The tenderness is for other people. The full meal is for other people. The special occasion is for other people. The good dishes, the better chair, the thoughtful words, the softer tone, the extra time. You may not say those words aloud. You may never have consciously believed them. But habits can express beliefs long before we know how to name them. If you automatically offer yourself what remains after everyone else has been cared for, some part of you may have learned that your place comes last. Not because you wanted to live that way, because you became accustomed to it. The hallway can become familiar enough that the room begins to feel undeserved. That is the strange thing about deprivation. After long enough, receiving can feel more uncomfortable than going without. You know how to give. Giving has rules. You know what to do. You know how to anticipate. You know how to make someone else comfortable. Receiving asks something different. It asks you to stop moving, to stop proving usefulness, to stop earning your place through service, to sit down without preparing to get up for someone else. That can feel unfamiliar, sometimes even frightening. Imagine the innkeeper standing at the bottom of the stairs tonight. The building is quiet. She has checked every lock. Every guest has what they need. No bell is ringing. No footsteps are approaching. For once, there is nothing left to do. Her eyes move toward the hallway bench, then toward the little key beside the desk. She has seen it thousands of times. She knows every key in the inn. At least she thought she did. This one feels different in her hand, worn at the edges, older than she remembers. There is a small tag attached to it. No room number, only one word: reserved. That word catches her attention. Reserved for whom? She searches her memory. No important guest is expected. No traveler rode ahead. No carriage is due. No one sent word from the next town. Still holding the key, she opens the register. Page after page contains names, some written carefully, some rushed, some nearly faded. A whole history of arrivals and departures. People she welcomed, people she worried about, people she served, people she watched walk away, names she remembers, names she has forgotten. Then she turns to the final page. There is one line at the bottom. A reservation entered long ago. So long ago the ink has softened with age, and the name written there is her own. She does not understand at first. That would be natural. When you have spent years assuming that the best of your care belongs to somebody else, your own name can look strange beside the word reserved. She reads it again. Her name, the key in her hand, the finest room. No mistake, no guest displaced, no one being denied anything. The room was never being taken away from someone else. It had been waiting for the person who kept preparing it. This may be where something inside you begins to resist, because the mind that learned to put itself last can turn self-care into a moral problem. What about everyone else? What if I become selfish? What if caring for myself means I stop caring about people? What if loving my own company means I no longer want connection? What if I become cold? What if I become unavailable? But giving yourself a room does not close the inn. It does not throw anyone into the street. It does not remove hospitality from the building. It does not make the innkeeper cruel. It gives the person caring for everyone else a place to sleep. That is all. A room for yourself is not a punishment for others. Rest is not betrayal. Boundaries are not revenge. Self-respect is not withdrawal. Enjoying your own presence does not mean declaring that other people are unnecessary. It means you stop making another person's presence the only place where warmth is permitted to exist. The innkeeper can still welcome travelers tomorrow. She can still open the door, still prepare breakfast, still listen, still care. But something changes when she no longer rises from a hallway floor to do it. She serves from a rested place instead of an abandoned one. She gives because she wants to give, not because giving is the price of belonging. That distinction can change an entire life. There is giving that comes from fullness, and there is giving that comes from fear. They may look identical from the outside. Both can be generous. Both can be attentive. Both can seem loving. Inside, they feel very different. Giving from fullness says, I care about you. Giving from fear says, please do not leave me. Giving from fullness says, I want to help. Giving from fear says, if I am useful enough, perhaps I will be kept. Giving from fullness has a doorway. It can open. It can close. It knows when the inn is full. Giving from fear has no closing time. It keeps the lamp burning long after exhaustion arrives. It says yes before checking whether there is room. It apologizes for having limits. It feels guilty when someone is disappointed. It mistakes another person's comfort for proof of its own goodness. Maybe you know this difference in your body. The yes that feels warm. The yes that leaves you tired but peaceful. And the yes that tightens something before the words even leave your mouth. The yes you give because saying no feels dangerous. The yes that makes you resentful later. The yes that creates loneliness even while you are surrounded by people. Because if everyone is receiving the version of you that never says what she needs, no one can truly meet the person underneath. They are meeting the innkeeper, efficient, helpful, smiling, prepared. They may never see the woman sleeping in the hallway. Not because everyone is careless, sometimes because she became very skilled at hiding the bench. You may have done that too. You may have learned how to make exhaustion look ordinary. You may say, it is fine. I am used to it. I can handle it. Do not worry about me. You may even feel proud of how little you require. There can be pride in surviving on the hallway bench. Look how strong I am. Look how little space I take. Look how easy I make it for everyone. But a life built around taking up as little space as possible eventually becomes lonely, because some part of you knows it has never been fully invited in. You can be loved by others and still feel this. You can be admired, needed, wanted, included, and somewhere inside still live like a temporary guest in your own life. That is why another person's love, as beautiful as it can be, cannot completely solve the feeling. A guest can stay at the inn. A guest can admire the rooms. A guest can speak kindly to the innkeeper. A guest can even say, "You deserve to rest." But the guest cannot make her use the key. That movement belongs to her, and yours belongs to you. No one else can decide that your own company is worthy of your attention. They can encourage you. They can love you. They can reflect good things back to you. They can help you see what you forgot. But they cannot permanently live inside the place where your own voice speaks. That is why this is not about becoming independent enough to need nobody. It is about becoming present enough that needing somebody does not require disappearing from yourself. You can love deeply without leaving your room. You can miss someone without moving back into the hallway. You can care about whether they call without letting their silence decide where you sleep inside your own mind. You can want a relationship and still set a place for yourself at your own table. You can hope someone returns and still turn on the lamp for the life that is already here. These are not small things. They are ways of coming home. The innkeeper walks slowly toward the room. She has passed the door thousands of times. Tonight, the hallway feels longer. Not because the room moved, because crossing a familiar boundary can make 10 steps feel like a journey. The key enters the lock for on. A second, she stops. This is where old habits speak. What if someone needs this room? What if a traveler comes late? What if there is an emergency? What if I get comfortable and become less useful? What if I sleep too deeply to hear the bell? What if I begin expecting comfort? That last fear can be powerful. What if I begin expecting comfort? People who have lived without enough can become afraid of wanting more. Wanting creates vulnerability. If you admit that you like tenderness, you can feel its absence more clearly. If you admit that you need rest, you must face how tired you are. If you admit that you deserve reciprocity, some relationships may become harder to excuse. If you admit that you want to be spoken to with respect, the sharpness you tolerated becomes more visible. If you admit that your own life deserves beauty, neglect becomes harder to call normal. So sometimes the hallway feels safer than opening the door. Not better. Safer. Familiar deprivation asks less of your identity than unfamiliar care. This is why there is no need to rush. The innkeeper does not have to fling the door open and transform overnight. She can stand there, hand on the key, breathing, learning that hesitation is not refusal. You can do the same. You do not have to believe every beautiful thing about yourself tonight. You do not have to suddenly enjoy every moment alone. You do not have to stop missing anyone. You do not have to declare that your needs have vanished. You only need enough willingness to turn the key a little. The lock moves. The door opens. The room smells faintly of clean linen and wood. A lamp waits beside the bed. The curtains are drawn back just enough to show the dark outline of the world beyond the glass. There is a chair by the small fireplace, a pitcher of water, a folded robe, a book placed on the table. Fresh sheets, the soft blanket she chose for someone special. She stands in the doorway and realizes she knows everything in this room. Of course she does. She prepared it. Every comfort was chosen by her own hands. This can be a beautiful realization in your life too. Many of the qualities you keep hoping someone will bring to you already exist as capacities within you. Not replacements for human relationship. Capacities. The patience you offer friends exists in you. The encouragement you give someone who doubts themselves exists in you. The humor you use to lighten a difficult moment exists in you. The way you remember what matters to people exists in you. The softness in your voice when someone is hurting exists in you. The loyalty, the care, the ability to make another person feel seen. These qualities do not disappear when no one else is in the room. They are still present. The person who has been creating warmth for others is still here. What changes if some of that warmth turns around? What changes if the listening and you give so freely becomes available to your own inner life? What changes if you stop answering your sadness with criticism? What changes if, when you miss someone, your first response is not embarrassment but companionship? You could say, "Of course I miss them. They mattered to me." You could say, "This evening feels quiet." You could say, "I wish things were different." And none of those sentences require a verdict. No sentence has to end with, "Therefore I am unwanted." That ending was learned. It can be unwritten. The innkeeper walks farther into the room. She touches the blanket. She sits on the edge of the bed. At first, she sits upright as though waiting for instructions. People who are used to serving can feel awkward when nothing is required. She looks toward the door. No one calls. She listens for the bell. Silence. She almost stands again. Then she sees the register on the small writing desk. Another copy of her name, placed there deliberately. Not accidentally, not as an afterthought. Her place was prepared. This may be the lesson hidden inside all the waiting. Not that you should never wait for anyone. Not that everyone who left was meant to leave. Not that every lonely season has some grand reason. Pain does not always need a philosophy. Sometimes people leave because they make choices. Sometimes relationships end because needs differ. Sometimes grief comes because love existed. Sometimes loneliness is simply loneliness. You do not need to turn it into destiny, but you can decide what loneliness teaches you about the way you treat yourself while you are inside it. That part belongs to you. The hallway does not have to become your permanent address. The fact that you adapted to it does not mean you were meant to remain there. The fact that you became good at carrying yourself through difficult nights does not mean difficulty is what you deserve. The fact that you can survive on very little does not mean very little is enough. There are people who learn this slowly. They begin buying flowers without waiting for someone to bring them. Not because receiving flowers from another person no longer matters. Because beauty does not need permission. They make breakfast properly even when eating alone. They take themselves somewhere they wanted to go. They sit in the good chair. They use the good towel. They stop describing everything done for themselves as silly or indulgent. They make appointments they have postponed. They leave conversations that repeatedly injure them. They stop over-explaining every boundary. They rest before collapse forces rest upon them. They begin becoming trustworthy in their own eyes. That is important. Trust in yourself is not only confidence in making decisions. It is the accumulated experience of learning that you will not consistently sacrifice yourself to keep everyone else comfortable. It is knowing that when you are tired, some part of you will listen. When something feels wrong, you will not automatically silence yourself. When someone repeatedly crosses a boundary, you will not call your hurt an inconvenience. When you make a mistake, you will correct it without turning yourself into a bad person. When you feel lonely, you will not punish yourself for wanting connection. You become someone you can come home to. That does not happen through slogans alone. It happens through treatment, repeated treatment. The same way the inn became welcoming because of hundreds of small acts. A clean sheet, a lit lamp, a glass of water, a door opened, a coat taken, a name remembered. None of those actions alone defines hospitality. Together, they create the feeling. Your relationship with yourself works the same way. One kinder thought will not erase years of self-criticism. One evening alone will not resolve every fear of abandonment. One boundary will not suddenly make everything simple, but repeated moments become atmosphere. Atmosphere becomes expectation. Expectation becomes a new kind of familiarity. Eventually, the room feels more natural than the hallway. That is how change can happen, quietly enough that you do not recognize the exact night it began. Tonight may only be one small lamp. That is enough. The innkeeper removes her shoes. This feels almost ceremonial because she has never taken time to do it here. Usually she remains ready, shoes beside the bench. body prepared to rise. Tonight the shoes stay near the door. She does not need to carry the whole in while lying down. For a moment, guilt returns. Somewhere above her, guests are sleeping. What if one of them wakes? She almost laughs at herself. They have doors. They have bells. They have blankets. They have been cared for. She can rest too. This is the balance self-worth creates. Not me instead of you. Me also. That phrase can be difficult for people who learned that love meant sacrifice. Me also. Not only everyone else. Not after everyone else forever. Not if there is anything left. Me also. Your needs do not become sacred by making other people's needs unimportant. They become included. Your feelings do not become superior. They become part of the room. Your time is not the only time that matters. It is one of the times that matters. Your heart is not the only heart deserving care. It is one of them. There is enough dignity in that. You do not need to crown yourself above anyone. You only need to stop placing yourself below everyone. Perhaps this is why the word welcome can feel more useful tonight than the word love. Love can feel large, heavy with expectation. Some people hear love yourself and immediately feel they are failing another assignment. Welcome asks less. You do not have to adore every part of yourself to welcome yourself. You can welcome a tired guest without thinking the guest is perfect. You can welcome someone who has made mistakes. You can welcome someone who does not know what to say. You can welcome someone who arrives carrying grief. You can welcome someone whose hair is untidy, whose eyes are tired, whose story is unfinished. A welcome does not require perfection. It requires a door that opens. So if the word love feels too far away tonight, let it remain far away. We do not need it yet. Welcome is enough. Home may be another word that brings resistance. For some people, home is warm. For others, home carries complicated memories. For some, the word means safety. For others, it means a place where they learned to become quiet. So when I speak of being at home in your own company, I am not asking you to return to any old place that hurt you. I mean something you are allowed to build now. A home that is not inherited, not assigned, not dependent on someone else's mood. A home made from the way you speak to yourself, the way you protect your peace, the way you let truth exist, the way you rest, the way you choose, the way you recover after mistakes, the way you stop making your heart earn basic kindness. This kind of home travels with you, not perfectly. There will be days when you forget where the key is. There will be evenings when the hallway feels familiar again. There will be moments when someone's silence pulls you toward an old door. That does not erase what you are learning. You can return. A home does not disappear because you spent an evening away from it. The innkeeper lies back against the pillow. It is softer than she expected. Of course it is. She chose it for someone special. That thought moves through her differently now. For someone special. All these years, she imagined special meant someone arriving from elsewhere, someone with an impressive story, someone whose presence justified using the best. She never considered that care does not become more meaningful because its recipient traveled farther. She has traveled too, through every year of keeping the place, through every goodbye at the doorway, through every winter morning and sleepless night, through every disappointment she returned from without closing the inn, through every day she continued to offer warmth. Her journey happened here. Perhaps yours has too. You may look at your life and think there is not enough to show for how hard some seasons were. No dramatic triumph, no perfect ending, no person standing beside you to prove that everything worked out. But you are here. That matters. You carried yourself through days that did not make sense. You got out of bed after losses no one fully understood. You learned things you never wanted to learn. You adapted. You started again. You kept some tenderness alive. You are listening tonight. That is not nothing. The room does not ask the innkeeper to justify why she deserves the bed. The bed is simply there. The key worked. Her name was written. That is the image I want you to keep close, not as a demand, as an experiment. What if your own presence could become a place where you are received instead of evaluated? What if solitude could become less like being left and more like entering? What if the evening did not need to prove anything? What if you did not have to fill every silence? What if your own company could be learned the same way any relationship is learned? Through time, attention, honesty, repair, patience, and repeated welcome. There is a sentence for this. We have reached it now. You do not need to believe it completely. You do not need to force emotion into it. Hear it once as though it were written in the register. I am at home in my own company, and I welcome myself here. Let the words sit where they land. There may be one word you resist. Home. Company. Welcome. Or even my own. You may feel the mind object. I do not feel at home with myself. I do not enjoy my own company. I do not know how to welcome myself. That is all right. Resistance is information. It shows you where the doorway still feels unfamiliar. It does not mean the sentence is wrong for you. It may mean the sentence touches the exact place that has been waiting. Say it again, more gently. I am at home in my own company, and I welcome myself here. Not because you have mastered solitude, not because loneliness has disappeared, not because you will never need another person, because you are beginning to stop treating your own presence like an interruption. One more time. I am at home in my own company, and I welcome myself here. You can let the sentence become less like a declaration and more like a room being prepared. A lamp, a blanket, a place at the table, your name in the register. You do not have to feel transformed. You only have to know the key turns. And tonight, the door has opened. And once a door has opened, even slightly, the room behind it becomes harder to pretend does not exist. The innkeeper cannot unknow what she has seen. She cannot return to the hallway bench with quite the same certainty. She may still sleep there again. People often return to familiar places after discovering better ones, not because the better place was false, because familiarity has gravity. The body knows old positions. The mind knows old explanations. The heart knows old disappointments so well that even pain can begin to feel organized. The hallway has rules. Keep your shoes on. Stay alert. Do not take up too much space. Be ready if someone calls. Do not get comfortable enough to forget your responsibilities. The room asks something else. Close the door. Set down the keys. Take off the weight. Trust that the world can continue for a little while without your constant supervision. For some people, that last instruction is harder than any affirmation. It can feel easier to say, "I am worthy," than to stop checking whether everyone else is all right. Easier to repeat kind words than to leave a message unanswered until morning. Easier to speak about self-love than to disappoint someone who has become accustomed to immediate access to you. Easier to buy yourself something beautiful than to say, "I cannot do that tonight." The deepest changes are often revealed in ordinary moments. Someone asks for more than you have. Do you empty yourself automatically? Someone is unhappy with your boundary. Do you rush to remove the boundary? Someone becomes distant. Do you immediately start proving your value? Someone misunderstands you. Do you abandon your own knowing and begin constructing a defense? Someone does not choose you. Do you turn their decision into a measurement of your worth? These are the moments when the hallway quietly reappears, not as a literal place, as a position beneath, a position outside, a position where your comfort becomes negotiable the moment another person's feelings enter the room. The innkeeper spent years living there. She knew every excuse. They need me. I can rest later. It is easier if I just do it. I do not want them upset. I should be grateful they came at all. Maybe I am asking too much. Maybe this room really is too good for me. You may have your own versions. I do not want to be difficult. I do not want to lose them. I do not want to seem selfish. I do not want to start over. I do not want to be alone. There it is. The sentence beneath so many compromises. I do not want to be alone. That fear can make almost any hallway look acceptable. It can make inconsistency look like connection. It can make crumbs feel precious. It can make confusion feel better than absence. It can keep you answering messages that leave you depleted. It can keep you returning to conversations where you are always explaining why your feelings count. It can keep you shrinking so someone else never has to confront the size of your truth. And the mind has a persuasive argument for every one of these choices. At least someone is here. At least I am not starting from nothing. At least there is a message. At least there is history. At least I matter sometimes. But sometimes the fear of loneliness creates a deeper loneliness. The loneliness of being present in a relationship where you cannot fully appear. The loneliness of being wanted only when convenient. The loneliness of being contacted when someone needs comfort, but overlooked when you need the same. The loneliness of knowing you are likely connected while emotionally standing in a hallway. This is why learning to enjoy your own company is not a small lifestyle preference. It changes what you are willing to call company. If your own presence becomes less frightening, absence loses some of its power to control your choices. If an evening alone stops feeling like proof of rejection, you become freer to leave rooms where you are repeatedly diminished. If your own silence becomes kinder, you become less willing to purchase noise at the cost of your dignity. If you know there is a room inside your life where you are welcome, you become less desperate to remain anywhere that only tolerates you. That is one of the quiet gifts hidden in self-companionship. Not isolation, discernment. You begin knowing the difference between being alone and being abandoned. The difference between longing and emergency, the difference between missing someone and needing to return to what hurt you, the difference between love and fear wearing love's clothing. The innkeeper sits in the finest room and begins looking around differently. For years she thought the beauty of the room came from who might occupy it. Now she begins to see that the beauty was already there. The polished wood was beautiful before a guest touched it. The blanket was soft before anyone admired it. The lamp gave light, whether anyone praised the light or not. The room did not become worthy because someone entered. It was worthy of care because it existed. There is something here for you. Your life does not become meaningful only when witnessed by the right person. A meal still nourishes you when no one sees it. A walk still belongs to you when no photograph proves it happened. Music still reaches your body when no one listens beside you. A morning can be beautiful without being reported. A room can be peaceful without being shared. You can laugh at something alone, and the laughter is not wasted. You can learn something no one ever asks you about, and the learning still mattered. You can wear something you love with nowhere special to go. You can make the bed for the person who will return to it tonight. You can prepare comfort for yourself without turning the act into a consolation prize. There is a difference between saying, "I guess I have to do this alone," and saying, "I am here with myself while I do this." The first sentence contains abandonment. The second contains companionship. That shift can be very small in language and very large in experience. The mind may say, "Those are just words." Sometimes they are. Words alone cannot create an entire new life, but words reveal the position from which you are living. They can show whether you are treating yourself like unwanted company or recognized company. And words repeated inside the same emotional pattern become instructions. The innkeeper heard her own instructions for years. Someone else first. Someone else needs more. Someone else deserves comfort. I can manage. Those sentences helped build the hallway. New sentences can help build another habit. Not magical sentences. Honest ones. I matter in this room too. My tiredness counts. My no can remain a no. I am allowed to be disappointed without becoming ashamed. I can miss someone without chasing them. I can want love without begging for recognition. I can be alone tonight and still belong to my life. That last line carries us closer to the question I left unopened at the beginning. You may remember it. I said there was one question I wanted to leave unanswered for a while, because you may have spent years searching for its answer in other people. We are ready now. The question is this: who has been waiting to choose you? You may have thought the answer was a partner, a friend, a parent, a child, a person from the past, someone who would finally understand, someone who would return, someone who would regret losing you, someone who would look across a room and recognize everything other people overlooked, someone whose love would end the argument you have been having with yourself. But there is another answer. You, not you instead of everyone else. You before the verdict of everyone else. You while other people are deciding. You while somebody is uncertain. You while someone chooses differently. You while another person cannot see what you hoped they would see. You while love is still on its way. You while grief is still present. You while life remains unfinished. The person waiting to choose you is also the person whose name was written in the register all along. This is the first loop closing. Not with a grand announcement, with a recognition. You have been waiting at doors that could never make the final decision about whether you belonged in your own life. That decision was never theirs. Other people can choose whether they participate. They can choose whether they stay. They can choose whether they understand. They can choose how much of themselves they offer. Those choices matter. They can hurt. They can bless you. They can change circumstances. but they cannot be given authority over your right to occupy your own inner room. That authority is yours. This is not the same as controlling outcomes. You do not control who loves you. You do not control who calls. You do not control whether a relationship lasts. You do not control whether another person becomes capable of meeting you where you are. Self-respect does not make the world obey you. It changes the place from which you respond when the world does not. That is a much more grounded power. The innkeeper cannot force travelers to return. Some will never come back. She cannot make every guest grateful. Some will complain. She cannot make every room stay occupied. There will be empty nights. She cannot guarantee that the inn will not ever know loss. But she can stop sleeping in the hallway. That is within her hands. Your life may contain similar choices. You cannot make someone become consistent. You can decide how long you remain inside inconsistency. You cannot make someone speak respectfully. You can decide what treatment you keep accepting. You cannot force another person to understand your boundary. You can keep the boundary even while they misunderstand it. You cannot remove every lonely night. You can change the voice that meets you there. You cannot ensure that every relationship becomes mutual. You can become more attentive to the places where mutuality is missing. This kind of self-companionship does not make pain disappear. It makes pain less lonely. There is an enormous difference. Grief with self-compassion is still grief. Rejection with self-respect can still sting. A breakup can still break open a whole season of emotion. A friend drifting away can still hurt. A family member's distance can still leave questions. You are not failing because you feel these things. Healing is not emotional numbness. You do not prove strength by becoming untouched. The innkeeper does not become wise by pretending the hallway never hurt her. She becomes wiser when she stops sending herself back there. There may still be a part of you saying, "I understand all of this, but I do not feel it." That part deserves an answer. Understanding often arrives before feeling. You can know a door is safe and still hesitate before entering. You can know someone is trustworthy and still take time to relax around them. You can know you deserve kindness and still feel uncomfortable receiving it. The nervous system learns through repetition, not argument. So you do not have to force belief. If the sentence from the last room felt too large, I am at home in my own company, and I welcome myself here. You may reduce it, not because the larger sentence is wrong, because truth sometimes needs a smaller doorway. You might begin with, I am willing to become kinder company to myself, or even, I am willing. That can be enough. Willingness is not pretending. It does not say, I already love every quiet evening. It does not say, I never feel lonely. It does not say, I have healed everything that made closeness complicated. It says, I am no longer committed to the old arrangement. I am willing to consider another room. That is a powerful sentence when used honestly. I am willing to stop turning every unanswered message into a verdict. I am willing to learn how to rest without earning it. I am willing to make my own life more livable. I am willing to hear my needs without immediately calling them too much. I am willing to let myself be disappointed without becoming self-destructive. I am willing to choose myself even while hoping someone else chooses me too. There may be resistance to that last one, because some people here choose yourself and imagine a hardening. A person who no longer compromises, no longer forgives, no longer needs anyone, no longer bends. That is not choosing yourself. That is armor. Armor may be necessary for a time. There are seasons when distance protects healing. There are relationships where firm boundaries are essential. There are situations where leaving is wiser than staying. But the purpose of choosing yourself is not to become unreachable. It is to become reachable without being erasable. You can love and remain. You can care and remain. You can compromise and remain. You can forgive and remain. You can listen and remain. The question is whether you disappear from yourself in the process. That is what we are changing. The innkeeper does not need to stop opening the front door. She needs to stop treating her own room as unavailable. Two doors can exist. The front door for connection, the private door for return. Both matter. There is also something important to say here, because loneliness can become heavy in ways affirmations alone should never be asked to carry. If you are in a situation where you are being harmed, controlled, threatened, or repeatedly made unsafe, peace does not mean enduring more quietly. A boundary can be an act of care. Leaving can be an act of care. Asking for help can be an act of care. If you are struggling so deeply that everyday life is becoming difficult to manage, reaching toward a trusted person, supportive community, counselor, therapist, doctor, or another qualified professional is not a failure of self-love. It can be one of its clearest expressions. Words like these can support reflection and emotional steadiness. They are not a replacement for medical or psychological care when such care is needed. You are allowed to need support beyond yourself. The inn was never meant to have only one room. There are many rooms, many doors, many kinds of help. Loving your own company does not mean becoming the only person you ever turn to. It means that when you turn toward help, you do not leave yourself behind. This matters especially if you have been taught that asking for support makes you weak. Some people become fiercely independent, not because solitude feels good, but because dependence once became dangerous. They learned that asking brought disappointment. That vulnerability was used against them, that promises were unreliable. So they say, "I do not need anyone." And perhaps that statement protected them for a while. There is no shame in the strategies that helped you survive difficult seasons. But protection can become too small for the life that comes later. A locked inn is safe from difficult guests. It is also closed to kind ones. You deserve discernment, not permanent exile. The goal is not to leave every door open. The goal is to know that you can choose which doors open and which do not. This is where self-trust begins taking shape, not as confidence that you will never make a mistake. You will. Everyone does. Self-trust is knowing that a mistake does not mean you must punish yourself forever. It is knowing that if you choose someone who later disappoints you, you can care for yourself through what follows. It is knowing that if you speak up and someone leaves, you will not automatically chase them by abandoning your truth. It is knowing that if you feel lonely tomorrow, you have not failed tonight. It is knowing you can return to the room. That word matters. Return, not achieve, not conquer. Return. You do not have to permanently remain in perfect self-love. No one lives there every hour. You return after comparison. You return after self-criticism. You return after overgiving. You return after an old pattern. You return after checking the phone 10 times. You return after sending the message you promised yourself you would not send. You return after becoming anxious. You return after a boundary collapses. You repair. You learn. You try again. Home is not a place you never leave. It is a place you know how to come back to. The innkeeper begins understanding this as she lies in the room. The hallway still exists. Tomorrow she will walk through it. She may even sit on the old bench for a moment and remember all the nights she slept there. She does not need to burn the bench. She does not need to hate the hallway. The hallway once served a purpose. It carried people from one room to another. It kept her near anyone who needed help. The problem was never that the hallway existed. The problem was believing she belonged there. That distinction may matter in your own history. You do not have to hate the person you were when you overgave. You do not have to hate the part of you that begged for reassurance. You do not have to despise the version of you who stayed too long. You do not have to call yourself foolish because you hoped. Those versions of you were trying to reach something: safety, love, belonging, certainty. They used whatever strategies they had. You can thank the strategy and still choose differently now. You can say, "I understand why you checked. I understand why you stayed. I understand why silence frightened you. I understand why you tried harder. I understand why being alone felt dangerous." And we do not have to sleep in the hallway anymore. There is such tenderness in that sentence. Not accusation, not superiority. No present self looking down on the past self. Only an invitation forward. You may feel emotion rise here, or you may feel nothing. Both are acceptable. Some nights the heart opens. Some nights it is tired. Some nights the words are simply sound moving through a dark room. You do know. You need an emotional performance for this to matter. Remember the beginning. Nothing is being tested. Even now, you may be half asleep. You may have missed several sentences. You may be listening very closely. Every version is allowed. The innkeeper does not ask herself to understand the whole history tonight. She has the key. The door opened. That is enough for one night. Still, before she sleeps, she notices something on the writing desk. A small envelope. She is certain it was not there earlier. Not sealed, not addressed, only folded once. She picks it up. Inside is a blank card. Nothing written. At first, she is confused. Then she understands. The card is waiting for a promise. Not a promise to never feel lonely again. That would be impossible. Not a promise to never miss anyone. Not a promise to become fearless. Not a promise that every boundary will be easy. Something smaller, more intimate. A promise made in the vocabulary of this room. A promise about where she will place her own name from now on. We will come to that promise soon. For now, the blank card can remain blank. You do not have to fill it yet. Let the question settle. If your own name were finally included among the people you care for, what would change first? Maybe the way you speak to yourself after rejection. Maybe the way you spend a quiet evening. Maybe the number of explanations you give. Maybe the people you keep chasing. Maybe the rest you postpone. Maybe the way you look at your body. Maybe the way you prepare food. Maybe the way you handle disappointment. Maybe the way you protect your time. Maybe nothing dramatic. Maybe the first change would be very small. You would stop calling yourself pathetic for missing someone. You would make tea. You would close the old conversation. You would put the phone face down. You would choose something kind to listen to. You would let the room be quiet without making the quiet mean anything. You would remember the line in the register, your own name, reserved, not because you are more important than everyone, because you are no longer excluded. This is the center of tonight's teaching. You do not cure loneliness by convincing yourself that other people do not matter. You soften loneliness by becoming one of the people who matters to you. That is different. And because it is different, it does not ask you to become hard. It asks you to become present. I am at home in my own company, and I welcome myself here. If that still feels too far away, I am willing to become kinder company to myself. And if even that feels large, I am willing. Let that be enough. The room is still here. The key is still in your hand. The register still holds your name. The blank card is still waiting. Soon, there will be one promise written across it. a promise simple enough to carry into every lonely evening that follows. For now, rest beside the possibility. Your place does not need to be argued for. Your name is already there. You do not have to write it twice. You do not have to make it larger. You do not have to decorate the letters so they become worthy of the page. The register does not ask whether you have finally become easy to love. It does not ask whether you have stopped missing the people you miss. It does not ask whether you handled every difficult moment perfectly. Your name is there because it is yours. The innkeeper looks at the blank card again. For years, she has made promises without calling them promises. I will take care of it. I will stay awake. I will make room. I will manage. I will give them mine. I will wait. She made those promises so often that they disappeared into the furniture of her life. They became ordinary. No ceremony, no signature. Just repeated decisions that always placed her last. Tonight, the card asks for another kind of promise. Not against anyone. Not made from anger. Not written to prove that she has learned a lesson. A promise does not need an enemy to become sacred. She turns the card over once. The lamp beside her gives enough light. The room is still. The hallway beyond the door has not vanished. The travelers have not vanished. Her responsibilities have not vanished. Nothing outside the room has been destroyed in order for her to be here. That matters. Sometimes people think change must be dramatic enough to be undeniable. A door slammed, a bridge burned, a declaration made. But some of the most important changes happen without witnesses. A person sits alone. A truth becomes clear. A decision is made quietly. No one applauds. No one even knows. Then, months later, life looks different because that small private decision was repeated enough times to become a new way of living. The innkeeper places the card on the desk. She takes up the pen, and in the language of this room she writes, I reserve the finest room for my own name. That is the vow, not the only room, not every room, the finest room. Not because no one else deserves goodness, because she does too. I reserve the finest room for my own name. Let the words move slowly. Reserve. The word does not mean hoard. It does not mean defend everything. It does not mean close the inn. To reserve is to remember before the room is given away, to leave space intentionally, to stop treating your needs as whatever can be fitted in after everything else has been scheduled. Some of you know what it means to give away your time before checking whether you have any left. Your morning is promised. Your afternoon is promised. Your evening becomes available because someone asks. Then tea seeds. Small things that belong to you are moved again. The walk, the appointment, the hour of quiet, the meal you wanted to make, the book, the sleep, the task that would have made tomorrow easier. You tell yourself you will return to these things later. Later becomes another hallway. The vow does not ask you to become rigid. Life changes. People need one another. There will be days when love rearranges the schedule. There will be moments when someone genuinely needs more from you, and giving will feel right. The difference is that your own place is no longer invisible during the decision. Your name stays on the page. You are considered. You are consulted. You become part of the household of your own life. That is all the vow is asking. I reserve the finest room for my own name. The innkeeper reads it once. She expects guilt. A little arrives. Old habits rarely leave without knocking on the door one more time. She hears the old questions. What if someone better comes? What if someone needs it more? What if keeping this for myself makes me selfish? She does not argue with every thought. She knows the difference between hearing a knock and opening the door, so she leaves the questions outside for now. The room remains hers. This is something you can practice too. Not every thought deserves a debate. Some thoughts are old travelers who know exactly which bell to ring. You do not have to throw them away. You do not have to fear them. You only need to decide whether they are coming inside tonight. A thought may say, you should text them. You can hear it. A thought may say, everyone else is moving forward. You can hear it. A thought may say, you are wasting time. You can hear it. A thought may say, what if you end up alone? You can hear that one too. Hearing is not obeying. A thought can remain in the hallway. The room can remain quiet. The innkeeper places the card beside the register. Tomorrow she may doubt it. Tomorrow the inn may become busy. Someone may ask for more. The old bench may look strangely convenient. That is why the vow is simple. It is easy to remember. I reserve the finest room for my own name, not because she expects perfect consistency, because she wants a sentence she can return to when habit becomes louder than intention. You may use it in your own way, when you're about to say yes too quickly, when you're about to apologize for a reasonable need, when you're about to spend another evening studying someone else's silence, when you're about to make yourself smaller to preserve uncertain connection. You can remember the register, the room, the name, the vow. Then you can ask a simpler question. Am I giving away the room again? No judgment, only recognition. Sometimes you will decide to give. Sometimes you will decide to stay. Sometimes you will choose a rest. Sometimes you will choose conversation. The goal is not to create one answer for every situation. It is to stop disappearing from the question. The innkeeper leans back. The card is complete. Nothing more needs to be written tonight. This is where the body can begin receiving what the mind has been learning. Not as a performance. Not as a technique you have to do correctly. You do not need to relax on command. The body is not another employee waiting for instructions. It has carried enough. So rather than telling it what it must do, we can begin removing jobs from it. The inn is closing for the night. One task at a time, one room at a time, one part of you at a time. The innkeeper lowers the lamp slightly. No traveler needs to see the road from this room. No one is arriving through this door. The door is for her. The bed is for her. The night is no longer a shift she has to work. Your body can hear that too. There is no shift to complete now. Start with the forehead, the place where so much invisible work happens. Plans, calculations, rehearsals, what you should have said, what you might say tomorrow, what could go wrong, what must not be forgotten. The forehead can spend a whole day like a front desk during a holiday weekend. Names arriving, questions arriving, responsibilities arriving, everything needing a place. Tonight, the desk can close. No more arrivals. Let the skin above the brows become less responsible. It does not have to hold tomorrow in position. It does not have to organize every possibility. The reservations for morning can remain where they are. Nothing must be processed now. You can imagine the little ledger being closed, not destroyed. Closed. The pages are still there. Tomorrow will still exist. But the forehead does not have to read tomorrow tonight. The muscles can lose interest in holding every thought so tightly. The line between the brows can stop guarding the entrance. No one is checking in. No one is waiting at the desk. The forehead is off duty. Even if it does not fully relax, it is off duty. That is enough. Now the eyes. Your eyes have watched so much. Screens, faces, doors, messages, expressions. They have searched for changes other people did not know you were looking for. They have looked for the typing bubble, the unread number, the name, the small shift in someone's face that might reveal what words did not. Eyes become tired from seeing. They also become tired from searching. Tonight, they do not have to watch the road. The innkeeper does not need to stand by the window waiting for a carriage. No arrival has to be witnessed. No message has to be caught the instant it appears. No one will become more loving because you kept watch. No answer becomes safer because you lost. Sleep waiting for it. The eyes can close like curtains after the final guest has gone upstairs, not shutting out life, ending the day's watch. Behind the lids, there is nothing to inspect, no expression to decode, no evidence to gather, no reflection to criticize. The eyes do not need to determine whether you are beautiful enough tonight. They do not need to compare your face with another face. They do not need to search photographs for what you lost. They have looked long enough. Let the windows darken. The room remains yours even when you cannot see it. The register remains complete even when no light falls on the page. Your name does not disappear because your eyes close. The eyes are off duty. Now the jaw. So many words can remain stored there. Words you swallowed because the timing felt wrong. Words you wanted to say but softened until they meant something else. Words you rehearsed in private. Words you used to explain what should not have required so much explanation. The jaw can become the locked cabinet where unsent sentences are kept. Tonight the cabinet does not need guarding. You do not have to finish any conversation in your sleep. You do not have to prove your side. You do not have to prepare the perfect response that will finally make someone understand. Understanding cannot always be earned through better wording. Sometimes you explained clearly. Sometimes they understood and still chose differently. Sometimes there was no sentence capable of changing the outcome. Your jaw does not have to keep trying. The teeth do not need to meet with such determination. The tongue can rest in the mouth. No answer is required. No defense is required. The innkeeper does not need to call down the hallway and make one final point before sleeping. The door is closed. Words can wait outside with everything else. The jaw is off duty. Now the throat. This is the doorway through which so much of your truth has had to pass. Sometimes freely, sometimes carefully, sometimes not at all. You may have learned to say yes when the truth was no. You may have learned to say it is fine when it was not fine. You may have learned to make your voice smaller when another person's mood became large. The throat remembers restraint. It remembers unsaid needs, unasked questions. The apology you gave even though you were the one hurt. The reassurance you offered while needing reassurance yourself. Tonight, your throat does not have to carry all the sentences that never came out. It does not have to push them out either. Nothing needs to be released perfectly. Nothing needs to become a confession. The doorway can simply be unguarded for a while. A quiet passage. Air enters, air leaves. No performance in either direction. If emotion rises there, it can rise. If no thing rises, that is fine too. The innkeeper has no announcement to make. She has already written the vow. The throat is off duty. Now, the shoulders. These may know the inn better than any other part of the body. They have carried bags that belonged to you and bags that did not. Responsibilities, expectations, other people's emergencies. The strange weight of being the person who can handle things. Some of you learned very early that capable people get handed more. You kept carrying because you could. Then people forgot that ability and endless capacity are not the same thing. The innkeeper knows this. She has lifted luggage from carts, carried it upstairs, moved trunks, stacked boxes, shifted furniture. She has known the sensation of something heavy being placed in her hands because everyone assumed she would manage. Tonight, nothing more is being carried upstairs. The last trunk is down. The last coat is hung. The last request has been answered. Your shoulders can stop acting like hooks. They do not need to hold tomorrow's bags. They do not need to lift the past one more time. You can imagine every strap sliding away, not dramatically, just no longer required. The shoulders do not have to climb toward the ears to prepare for what might happen. Nothing is approaching. No footsteps require you to brace. Let them become less useful for a while, less ready, less prepared. The room has a bed. The luggage has a floor. The shoulders are off duty. Now the chest. This is where longing can become physical, where absence sometimes feels like pressure, where relief can spread after a message and disappear when another one never comes. The chest may have become a waiting room for hope, holding its breath, opening, tightening, opening again. You do not have to empty that room. Longing can remain without becoming the only occupant. There can be longing and breath, memory and breath, grief and breath, hope and breath. You do not need to force the chest wide. You do not need to take an impressive breath. The smallest natural breath is enough. The innkeeper is no longer standing at the front door trying to see who is coming. She is inside her own room. The chest can begin learning that being inside does not mean being trapped. It means sheltered. There is a difference. A shelter does not demand that you stay forever. It gives you somewhere to rest before the next opening. So let the chest become a room rather than a station. No schedule on the wall, no arrival board, no name you are waiting to see. Just breath entering, breath leaving. The door opening inward, then closing again. No message attached, no interpretation required. If the chest feels heavy, it can be heavy. You do not need to fix it before sleep. If it feels open, let it be open. If emotion passes through, there is room. The finest room is not only for easy feelings. You are welcome here when you are uncertain too. You are welcome when you miss someone. Welcome when you are relieved they are gone. Welcome when you want love. Welcome when you are tired of wanting. Welcome when you do not know what you feel. The chest does not have to choose one emotion and present it neatly. The room can hold complexity. The chest is off duty. Now the hands. Think how often your hands reach before you decide. For the phone, for the keyboard, for the message, for the work. for the things someone else needs. Hands are wonderful servants. They prepare, repair, hold, clean, carry, write, comfort. They have touched faces, closed doors, opened doors, held on to things past the moment they were comfortable to hold. Tonight, the keys can leave your hands. The innkeeper places them on the table. All of them. The front door key, the cupboard key, the room keys. The key to the finest room. She no longer needs metal in her palm to prove she belongs there. The door is already open. Your hands can rest without holding evidence. They do not need to keep the phone close enough to feel every vibration. They do not need to send anything. They do not need to reach backward. They do not need to reach forward. The fingers can stop solving. Nothing is slipping away because your hands are still. Anything that belongs in tomorrow can meet you tomorrow. Anything that requires chasing tonight is probably not made safer by exhaustion. Let the palms become empty. Empty does not mean deprived. Empty can mean available for rest. The hands are off duty. Now the stomach, the place where anticipation often arrives before language. A small drop, a knot, a tightening, a warning. The body sometimes knows you are worried before the mind admits it. The stomach may have carried conversations that never happened, outcomes that never occurred. Fear about losing what was already unstable. Fear about wanting too much. Fear about being too much. Fear about ending up with too little. The innkeeper knows the sensation of waiting for an unknown traveler after dark. Will someone knock? Will there be enough space? Will there be trouble? Will something be needed that she cannot provide? Those questions belonged to many nights. Not this one. The kitchen is closed. The books are closed. The front door is locked. No unexpected guest needs to be fed. No problem needs to be digested before morning. Your stomach does not have to turn uncertainty into preparation. There is nothing to prepare for in this bed. The future does not need to be swallowed whole. It can remain outside the room. Tomorrow will come in pieces. One whole or one conversation, one decision. You do not need to consume all of it now. If there is a knot, let it be a knot that no longer has a job. It does not have to untie immediately. Even tension becomes less frightening when it is not treated like an emergency. There is room around it, a bed beneath it, a breath beside it, a night that does not demand resolution. The innkeeper does not ask her body to become peaceful before it earns the room. That would repeat the old mistake. The room comes first, the welcome comes first. Rest does not need to be earned by relaxation. You are allowed to lie here tense, allowed to lie here uncertain, allowed to sleep imperfectly, allowed to wake and settle again, allowed to receive the room before knowing exactly how to use it. This is important. Some people turn rest into another standard. I should be calmer. I should be asleep. I should not be thinking. I should have let this go by now. Those sentences reopen the front desk. Another task. Another failure. Another thing to manage. No, the inn is closed. If thoughts move, let them move without assigning yourself a shift. If the body remains awake, it can remain awake without being blamed. If sleep comes, receive it. If sleep waits, you are still inside the room. Nothing is wrong. The stomach is off duty. The forehead no longer has to run the desk. The eyes no longer have to watch the road. The jaw no longer has to complete old conversations. The throat no longer has to edit your truth. The shoulders no longer have to carry every bag. The chest no longer has to wait at the door. The hands no longer have to hold the keys. The stomach no longer has to prepare for tomorrow all at once. The innkeeper lies still. The vow rests on the desk. I reserve the finest room for my own name. She does not need to repeat it constantly. A true reservation remains even when no one is reading it. The words can become quieter now. The night is moving deeper into the building. Upstairs, nothing needs her. Downstairs, nothing needs her. The hallway is empty. The bench remains where it always was. She can see it in her mind. For once, she does not feel angry at it. It carried her through nights when she did not yet know another arrangement was possible. But she does not have to return there out of loyalty to the person she used to be. You do not have to repeat old hardship to honor the version of you who survived it. You honor that version by giving her somewhere softer to arrive. The innkeeper turns slightly beneath the blanket. The room receives the movement. No one complains. No one asks her to make herself smaller. There is enough space. There has always been enough space. The second question planted earlier now begins to answer itself. What changes first when your own name becomes one of the names you care for? Maybe nothing outside changes tonight. That may be the answer. The phone remains where it is. The people remain who they are. The past remains past. The future has not announced itself, and still something has changed. You are no longer waiting outside with them. You are inside with you. That is enough for now. The rest of the body can follow. The back, the hips, the legs, the feet. Each has carried its own part of the journey. Each can be received into the room. but there is no hurry. The inn has nowhere else to go. Neither do you. For this moment, the room is here. The blanket is here. The card is here. The name is here. And you are here. The room does not need anything more from you. The back can begin to understand that now. Think of how many days your back has carried what no one could see. Not only bags, not only work, not only the ordinary weight of moving through a day. There are invisible loads too. Being the one who remembers, being the one who anticipates, being the one who keeps things from falling apart, being the one who notices what everyone else missed, being the one who continues after disappointment, because there is still something that has to be done. The back learns duty quietly. It does not announce what it holds. It simply holds. Tonight the innkeeper has no tray to carry, no bundle of linens tucked beneath one arm, no basket to take upstairs, no broken chair to move, no late arrival to help through the doorway. The work has stopped. Your back can stop preparing to lift the next thing. It can meet the bed without argument. The mattress does not ask your back to prove that it is tired enough. It receives the weight that is already there. You can let that image do the work. A surface beneath you, something supporting rather than requesting. Your back does not have to support everything now. It can be supported. That may feel unusual. Some people are so familiar with being the support that receiving support creates tension of its own. You may find yourself still holding a little above the bed, still braced, still ready. Nothing has gone wrong. The body learns new rooms slowly. Let it learn. The back does not have to collapse into rest. It can approach rest one small amount at a time. The shoulder blades can become less watchful. The middle back can stop holding invisible posture for invisible observers. The lower back can set down whatever part of the day it collected. There is no audience here. No one is evaluating how well you rest. No one is deciding whether you deserve the room based on how quickly you relax. The bed is not a reward. It is a place. Your place tonight. The back is off duty. Now the hips. The center that has moved you through doorways, rooms, years. The place where the body gathers itself before standing, before walking, before carrying, before leaving. There may be old readiness stored here, readiness to go, readiness to stay, readiness to adjust yourself to someone else's space, readiness to move if you become inconvenient. The innkeeper spent years sleeping where she could rise quickly. No deep settling, no full claim. Tonight her body is learning another message. You do not have to be ready to leave. Let that sentence be simple. You do not have to be ready to leave. Not this room, not this moment. You can remain. You can take up the space your body naturally takes. You do not have to narrow yourself. You do not have to sleep as though someone else needs half the bed. You do not have to make yourself smaller for an absent person. The hips can become heavy in the place that receives them, not trapped. received. There is a difference. The room does not hold you against your will. It holds a place for you because your name belongs here. If rest comes deeply, let it. If it does not, nothing has failed. The hips are off duty. Now the legs, these have carried you toward so many things, toward people, away from people, into rooms where you hoped to belong, out of rooms where you finally understood you did not. They have climbed stairs when you were exhausted, walked through airports, shops, offices, hospitals, kitchens, parking lots, stations, homes. They have moved you through ordinary life while the mind was somewhere else entirely. Sometimes toward a phone, sometimes toward a door after hearing a sound, sometimes pacing while waiting for an answer, sometimes walking just to quiet the thoughts. Your legs have carried you through all of it. Tonight, they do not need a destination. No road, no staircase, no person to follow, no person to run from. The traveler has arrived. That is enough. You can imagine the innkeeper remembering all the travelers she watched disappear down the road. Some waved, some did not. Some promised to return. Some never looked back. For years, a part of her may have followed them in thought long after her body remained at the inn. Where are they now? Did they remember her? Did they value the care? Would they come back? Was there something more she should have said? Questions like these can make a person travel without moving. Tonight, the road can remain outside. The legs do not have to go after anyone. They do not have to prove that the departure was a mistake. They do not have to catch up to someone else's life. They can rest under the blanket. The left leg, the right leg. No direction required, no destination required. The legs are off duty. Now the feet, the last part of the body to bring fully into the room. How many thresholds have they crossed? How many times have they stood somewhere uncertain, waiting to learn whether they were welcome? How many times have you entered a room and immediately looked for the safest place to stand? How many times have you shifted your weight while someone decided what they felt about you? How many times have you left somewhere carrying words that stayed with you much longer than the visit itself? Feet remember ground. They remember waiting. They remember departure. Tonight, there is no threshold beneath them. They are already inside. This matters. You are not outside asking to enter. You are not standing at the front desk trying to convince anyone that a room should be found for you. You are not a late traveler hoping there might still be space. The reservation was made. The name was found. The key turned. The door opened. The vow was written. The body entered. Now the feet can stop waiting at the doorway. Every toe can become irrelevant for a while. Nothing to balance, nothing to brace against, nothing to carry you toward before morning. The floor will be there tomorrow. The road will be there tomorrow. Choices will be there tomorrow. Tonight, the feet have arrived. The feet are off duty. And now the whole body can be thought of as one quiet inn after closing. No desks open, no windows being watched, no bags being carried, no rooms being prepared, no travelers being counted, no keys being held, no hallway bench being used. Only one room with a small lamp, one name, one bed, one person inside it, you. There is nothing else you need to become before this image can belong to you. You do not need to become someone who never feels lonely. You do not need to become someone who prefers solitude every night. You do not need to stop hoping for partnership. You do not need to stop missing people. You do not need to stop loving. The room does not require emotional independence. It requires inclusion. Your inclusion. That is all. If some part of you still feels alone, bring that part inside too. Do not leave loneliness in the hallway. It can enter. It can sit by the bed. It does not have to run the inn. You can be lonely and welcomed at the same time, sad and welcomed, uncertain and welcomed, hopeful and welcomed, tired and welcomed. This is how an inner room becomes real, not by admitting only the polished feelings, by making space for the ones that used to embarrass you. Loneliness can sit down without being given authority. It does not decide your value. It does not predict your future. It does not prove that no one is coming. It does not prove that someone is coming either. It is simply a feeling passing through a room that now has a host, you. This is where the smaller question from earlier can finally close. What changes first when your own name? It becomes one of the names you care for? The answer may be this. You stop leaving yourself alone with loneliness. That is the change, not the elimination of longing. Companionship inside the longing. Not the guarantee of a different tomorrow, a different way of meeting tonight. The innkeeper understands it now. For years she believed the opposite of loneliness would be a full inn, every room occupied, every chair taken. Voices downstairs, people calling her name, movement everywhere. Then one night, in the finest room, she discovers another possibility. The opposite of loneliness is not always more people. Sometimes it is no longer being absent from yourself. She lies beneath the blanket and hears the building settle. The old wood speaks softly. A distant floorboard gives a small sound and becomes still again. Nothing in the inn has changed its identity. The hallway still exists. The front desk still exists. The doors still exist. Tomorrow, travelers may come. And now there is one more truth within the building. The innkeeper has a room. That truth changes everything without demanding that anything else disappear. You have a room too. Let the words become smaller now. There has been enough explanation. The mind can stop carrying the teaching. The body can receive short sentences. No pressure, no test, only words passing by. like keys laid gently on a table. I am at home in my own company. I welcome myself here. My name belongs here. I make room for myself. My needs can be heard. My rest can matter. My feelings can exist. I do not have to earn welcome. I can miss someone and remain with myself. I can want love and keep my dignity. I can feel lonely without becoming unworthy. I can be uncertain and still belong. My own presence can become familiar. My own presence can become kind. My own presence can become enough for this moment. I am willing to be here with myself. I am willing to return. I am willing to choose differently. I am willing to stop making loneliness a verdict. I am willing to stop giving away every room. I reserve the finest room for my own name. My name stays in the register. My room remains. My place remains. I can rest here. I can breathe here. I can be quiet here. Chum go. I can be unfinished here. I can heal here. I can think less now. I can stop waiting for tonight. I can let the road be empty. I can let the phone be quiet. I can let other people have their own lives. I can let myself have mine. The door is closed. The room is warm. The keys are down. The hallway is empty. The bench is unused. My name is written. My place is kept. I am included. I am here. I am welcome. Let the affirmation shorten. No effort, no performance. Hear them or sleep through them. Nothing is lost. My room. My name. My place. My rest. All. My life. I belong here. I welcome myself. I choose myself too. I remain included. I can rest. I can soften. I can receive. I can return. I am here. My name remains. My room remains. I am welcome. At home. Inside. Resting. Received. Safe enough now. No proving, no chasing, no waiting, no hallway. My room, my name, my place. Quiet now, still here, still welcome. You may already be moving in and out of sleep. That is completely fine. There is nothing later in these words that requires you to stay awake. If you fall asleep before another sentence arrives, the room does not disappear. The register does not close against you. The vow does not become invalid. You do not miss the important part. You already entered. That was the important part. Sleep can take whatever remains. You do not need to listen with effort. The words can become part of the quiet around you. Some may be heard, some may not. Nothing is withheld from you because you drift. You are not being asked to complete the experience. You are being invited to rest inside it. The innkeeper does not lie awake proving that she appreciates the room. She sleeps. That is how she receives it. So if Saki, leap comes now, receive it the same way. No apology, no unfinished task, no need to hear the final line before allowing your eyes to grow heavier. Falling asleep is not leaving the room. It is settling more deeply into it. And if you are still awake, there is nothing wrong with that either. You are still inside. The room does not become less yours because sleep is taking its time. Rest can happen before sleep. Belonging can happen before belief. Welcome can happen before certainty. You have done enough. Perhaps tomorrow there will be an old reflex, the phone in your hand, a familiar name in your thoughts, a moment when someone else's silence starts feeling larger than your own life. You may forget everything said tonight. That is possible. So keep only one image if you keep anything. A register, your name, a room. That is enough. If you return tomorrow night, you do not need to start over. The room will not ask where you have been. If you return the night after that, the same. For 3 nights, if it feels supportive, come back to this image. Not as a challenge, not to force a result, not to measure whether you became less lonely by a certain deadline. Return, because familiarity grows through return. First night, finding the key. Second night, recognizing the room. Third night, entering without asking whether you are allowed. That is all. No score, no failure, no promise that life outside will suddenly change. Only a chance to make this inner room less unfamiliar. And if 3 nights become one is still meaningful. If you forget, nothing is broken. If you return weeks from now, the door can still open. The point is not perfect repetition. The point is learning that return is available. The innkeeper will wake one morning and walk downstairs. The front desk will need attention. There may be travelers waiting. There may be work. There may be disappointment. There may be good news. A letter, a visitor, an ordinary day. She will move through all of it. But she will know something she did not know before. At the end of the day, there is a room with her name on it. She may give more wisely because of that knowledge. She may say no sooner. She may rest before resentment. She may stop mistaking exhaustion for goodness. She may welcome kinder guests because she is less afraid of an empty inn. She may let some travelers continue down the road without running after them. She may discover that an empty room is not always a tragedy. Sometimes it is space. Sometimes it is recovery. Sometimes it is the place where the next chapter has not yet been written. She may still feel lonely. And now, loneliness will meet a woman who knows where she sleeps. That is different. That is enough. You may still have quiet evenings. You may still want someone beside you. You may still feel the ache of an empty chair. The promise of tonight is not that these things vanish. It is that your own presence can stop being counted as nothing. You are someone in the room, someone whose feelings matter, someone whose body deserves rest, someone whose inner life deserves tenderness, someone whose name belongs in the register. That changes the arithmetic of loneliness. One person in a quiet room is not no one. You are there. This is what it can mean to fall in love with your own company. Not constant delight, not self-obsession, not a rejection of human connection. It can begin as respect, then familiarity, then ease, then small moments you no longer need to escape. A meal, a walk, a quiet morning, a night where the phone remains face down for 10 minutes longer than usual. A room you make beautiful because you live there. A plan you keep because you made it with yourself. A boundary you honor because your word to yourself matters too. A silence that stops feeling like punishment. This is how loneliness may begin losing some of its power, not through force, through companionship, your own. The lamp is lower now. The ink on the vow has dried. The building is still. Nothing more needs to be taught tonight. No final lesson hidden behind the next paragraph. No secret you must remain awake to receive. You can release the need to follow. You can let sentences become softer around the edges. The room remains. The name remains. The welcome remains. If an old memory comes, it can pass through. If a face appears in the mind, let it be a face. You do not need to follow it down the road. If a message arrives tomorrow, tomorrow can hold it. If no message arrives, tomorrow can hold that too. Tonight belongs to rest. Tonight belongs to the person in this room. you. The innkeeper reaches toward the lamp. Before turning it down, she looks once more at the card. I reserve the finest room for my own name. No one else had to approve it. No traveler had to witness it. No one had to return and validate it. The promise became real when she stopped excluding herself. You can let your version become real in the same quiet way. No announcement, no performance, no proof, just return. Your name, your room, your key, your place. There is enough space for you, enough quiet for you, enough rest for you. Tonight, the inn is not waiting for anyone else to make it complete. The person who belongs in the finest room has already arrived. You may sleep now. You may drift before these final words are finished. Nothing is missed. Nothing is taken away. Your place remains yours. All is well. The lamp can lower. The register can close. The key can rest. Your name stays inside. And the finest room is no longer waiting.